Boop, boop, boop. Let's put together these muffins. They are very simple to pull together. Don't be intimidated, you've got this. We're starting off with 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm using a gluten-free flour mix. King Arthur flour is my favorite. I have such good luck with this flour mix. If you're looking for a gluten-free option, otherwise use your favorite all-purpose flour. And then I'm adding a whole cup of rolled oats, dried rolled oats right on in there. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. In these muffins, I really like both of those leavening agents in here. I think that it gives us a little bit of a fluffier muffin because sometimes when you're using bananas in baked goods, it can feel really heavy. And don't get me wrong, these are really hearty muffins. You're gonna love it if that's what you're after, which is usually what I'm after. And then 1/2 teaspoon each of cinnamon and sea salt. Those are our dry ingredients. I like to whisk those together first, really to make sure that the salt and the cinnamon and the baking powder and the baking soda are all incorporated really well with one another. Alrighty, so let's get started on the liquid half of these muffins. And bananas count. We're gonna go into the liquid. You'll see why in a second. Fun fact for you about bananas. So apparently, of all the fruit sold in the United States, the banana is #1. There's more bananas sold than any other fruit. And also, 96% of Americans buy bananas at least once a month. What do you know? I am definitely in that percentage. We go through a lot of bananas in our house. If you have not ever baked with bananas before, don't be intimidated. Yes, the more ripe they are, the easier this next step is going to be. But if your bananas are just barely ripe, this will also work. It'll just be a little bit more difficult. I recommend grabbing a dinner fork, put your bananas in a big bowl, and then just start smashing. You could also use a potato masher. Let's do that. Let's get a potato masher. And just start mashing. The more you mash, the more liquid it'll get. Okay, so the bananas are lightly mashed. You can see they're still pretty lumpy. That's okay because we're gonna use these hand mixer. You could also use a stand mixer to finish incorporating the rest of these ingredients and it'll get really smooth. And even if you still have a few larger pieces of banana in this muffin, it's gonna be okay. Okay, 1/2 cup of brown sugar really likes to firm up very quickly. 1/2 cup of brown sugar is headed in. Brown sugar is a 1-for-1 swap for coconut sugar. You could also use just a cane sugar if that's all you've got. I'm gonna break up these clumps because otherwise I'll be chasing it with that little hand mixer trying to break them up, and that's always more difficult than doing it this way. 1/2 cup of milk, any milk. It can be cow's milk or this is an oat milk. You can use whatever you like. We just happen to have oat milk on hand. 5 tablespoons of melted butter or melted coconut oil. You could use melted ghee. You could use an avocado oil if you prefer. 2 eggs. And then that is it for our liquids. Let's start. Oh, nope, no. How dare I forget? Vanilla is due. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1-ish, 2-ish. If you measure it, I totally support that, just for the record. Now we're gonna blend this together. Wet is all well combined, and now I'm going to add a little bit of the dry at a time. I'm breaking this up into half. If you're using your stand mixer, for example, to pull this together, which is such an easy thing to do, you can just mix it all in the same bowl using the same attachment. This is a really forgiving recipe. Because what I'm trying to get at is don't overthink it. Your muffins are going to turn out great. Either way. So this is coming together beautifully. The batter looks perfect. Fun story, so I actually developed this recipe. I had no intention of sharing it online. How selfish of me. I developed it because I was about to give birth to our second Bishop, and I wanted a really yummy muffin to take to the hospital with me to have as a snack. And I made this, I wanted something with oats, bananas, chocolate chips. At the time, I wasn't really craving nuts, which is why nuts didn't wind up in this recipe, but you could totally add those in and make it a banana, oat, nut, chocolate chip muffin. That would be great. Anyways, this is one of my favorite foods to make now. Now that we're expecting our third, this is going to the hospital with me again. I was so thankful to Past Me for preparing these. So if you have anybody in your life, maybe they're welcoming a new baby, or maybe they're having surgery and they're home recovering, this is such a nourishing, wonderful, healthy gift to give folks. Chocolate chips are all mixed in. Now we're just gonna scoop this into our muffin tin, sprinkle a few last oats on top just for some beauty, and pop them in the oven. 350 degrees for about 25 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. Keep in mind that the yield will vary because bananas are not all created the exact same size. Go pop these in the oven. You're in for such a treat. I am so excited about these muffins. This is one of my favorite breakfasts to have on hand. The girls love them, my kids love them, and if you love oats as much as I do, be sure to check out the links below in the description box. I have so many other breakfast ideas for you, so many. Go check them out. Thanks for being here.